Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR My Driver Career Mode here on the channel. Hope you're all having a great day. Today we have a lot going on. We have our second ever race in the Xfinity Series coming at your way here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, continuation from last episode, and we have the regular season finale for the Truck Series at Watkins Glen International. So very excited for that one. We're back behind the wheel of the number 8 for JRM this weekend here in the Xfinity Series, and in our debut of a few episodes back at Kentucky, I think it was, we led some laps, we ran well, but unfortunately we used up too much tire towards the end of that race and paid the price and still had a strong result inside the top 10 for our Xfinity debut. But we know we have the talent, we have the speed, even coming from an open wheel background, we can still show that we can wheel a stock car around an oval track and be a contender. So it starts off with a good qualifying effort, and it was a decent qualifying effort. It wasn't great. We qualified in the top 15 at least here, as you can see, actually in the top 10 in P8 here. So the hopes were definitely high coming into this race as we were about to get underway. David Schoenhaus, Michael Cozier Jr. had a very strong qualifying effort as well. They've been struggling recently here in the Xfinity Series as we would get underway for 60 laps around New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So stage 1, 15 laps, stage 2, 15 laps, and then of course we race from about lap 30 to 60 to determine the finishing result here of this race overall. New Hampshire, a pretty calm track here with the iRacing AI, so you don't really expect much chaos here. It's probably going to be a green race the whole way through other than the stage cautions. 3 wide there, Cozy and Schildhaus actually make a little bit of contact right there in 3 and 4. Schildhaus likely would expect to see an announcement regarding him soon, potentially moving up to the NASCAR Cup Series next season. Cozy, however, will be remaining in the Xfinity Series for one more season at least, as we look to make up a jump up to the Xfinity Series next season. And if we can prove our worth here today in the Xfinity Series at New Hampshire, we'll be looking pretty good. We do have one more Xfinity start at least set up here for the Charlotte Roval in the Xfinity Series playoffs, because JRM wanted to get us some seat time at 1.5 miles, more of a short track, which New Hampshire, not much of a short track, but it's as close as we're probably going to get in the Xfinity Series from the part-time schedule that I have planned out, and then a road course at the Charlotte Roval. So stage 1 though didn't go the greatest. We started inside the top 10, but I faded down to P13. I was working on saving my tires, and I didn't know if the AI were going to pit at the end of stage 1, so I was really very demanding on myself to save my tires, and it was working, because here in the final moments of stage 1, I was starting to close in on the cars in front of me. I passed my teammate Noah Gragson right there, move up into 12th place, and now we come straight through to the final lap of stage 1, a very calm first and opening stage. No stage points for us here, unfortunately, in stage 1, but it's AJ Allmendinger who comes through out of turn 4. He is going to be able to pick up a playoff point as they close in towards the Xfinity Series regular season finale as well. Schoenhaus there second, Cozy third. So Schoenhaus and Cozy are the 2 content creators of the Xfinity Series, looking very strong here early on there as we just barely hold off Noah Gragson to finish P12 in stage 1. Only 2 races into the Xfinity Series, and I feel way more comfortable behind the wheel of an Xfinity car compared to a truck. So everybody, though, would come down the pit lane here at the end of stage 1. Got a little bit chaotic, actually, in the pit lane. People were checking out. They're going all over the place. But we got into our pit box safely, put 4 tires on the car, filled it up on fuel, and come through to the exit of the pit lane, actually getting all the way up to 9th place for the start of stage 2. So we gained about 3 spots right there on the pit lane here as we would get back underway. Stage 2 is now green here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and stage 2 comes to a close at the end of lap 30. So we only have like 10 laps of racing here in stage 2 due to that caution. And one thing we're going to be trying out today in Watkins Glen for the Truck Series is no cautions at the end of stage 1, but at the end of stage 2 there will be a caution. But immediately a good restart for myself here. I'm 3 wide just about there with Hemrick as well as Michael Annette. I got past Cozy there, who did not have a good pit lane. He was P3 at the end of stage 1. He's now behind myself in the bottom part of the top 10. He's up the inside, 3 wide in the middle between Hemrick and Cozy there on the exit of turn 4 as I'm trying to now get clear of the 18, which I do, and we're side by side with Michael Annette here at the end of this opening lap. Justin Allgaier there just in front of us here now, as hopefully we can maybe be racing alongside these guys next season in the Xfinity Series, maybe as a teammate or as a competitor. And either way, I don't know what team we're going to be on yet, or even if we will be in the Xfinity Series. We have to really perform here today and in our road course debut coming up soon as well. And we did good enough in Kentucky to give ourselves an opportunity. 3 wide in the middle right there. We complete the pass on both Justin Haley and then I sail it off into turn 1, and we're going to be able to pass the 7 of Allgaier as well. So a lot more pace in this car compared to stage 1, which I was surprised by, because everybody came in, put 4 tires on the car, but I was just really doing a good job here in stage 2. Now, everything after that was really slow. We didn't really go anywhere after I got up into 4th place behind Schoenhaus, Cindric, and Allmendinger. But I was going hard to the end of the stage nonetheless, because I didn't care what the AI's plan with the pit cycle was at the end of stage 2. I said I'm going to pit no matter what at the end of stage 2. If they stay out, I still pit. If they pit, of course I pit as well. So we come straight through to the final lap of stage 2 here, and like I said, not much happened after I got to 4th. We stayed in 4th, and we're right behind David Schotthaus down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4 for the final time in stage 2. Allmendinger just out in front once again, very, very strong here today over Austin Cindric. Schotthaus there in P3, myself in P4, but Allmendinger sweeps the first 2 stages there. I get right to the back bumper of that gamer advantage Chevrolet Camaro of Schotthaus, but not quite enough there to beat him now as Cozy ends up P5 there. So a very strong effort from him. And at the end of stage 2, most of the front drivers stay out. So I come into the pit lane, and a lot of drivers actually behind me come into the pit lane. So we are going to have a very nice advantage going into stage 3, because we would still line up P13 after pitting. So we go from, 4th to 13th, but we have about 10 fresher lap tires here. So we are in good position here for the start of stage 3, similar to the approach we had in Kentucky. I think we pitted at the end of stage 2 there, took a fresh tire advantage, and drove ourselves to the front of the pack, and then I absolutely destroyed my tires, and unfortunately we paid the price for it. But now today we learned from that Kentucky mistake, and we're going to try and apply that a solution to that here in this third and final stage in New Hampshire, in just our second ever Xfinity start. We have proven, even on even tires, we have top 5 speed there as I nearly get into the door. Brandon Brown 4 wide with Herbst on the inside, Snyder Clements in the middle. On the outside, you got Harrison Burton in the 19 car. Keep in mind, Burton is in the 19, not Brandon Jones here in our My Driver career mode. Jones currently absent from the roster there as they make a little bit of contact. Herbst on the inside there of Snyder, but somehow everybody keeps it going in the right direction. Crazy racing there. Ty Gibbs in the 54 will be competing against him next season in the Xfinity Series if we do make that jump up to go for an Xfinity Series title here. Now, as I was on the move though, after all of that happening, I was well up inside the top 10, nearly inside the top 5. So an absolutely tremendous start here as we exit turn 4, and it's going to be 3 wide with Cindric in the middle, Allgaier on the top, Michael Cozy Jr., the Xfinity rookie, on the inside, down into turn 1. I could have made a 4 wide, wouldn't have been a smart move from my point here. We're not competing for an Xfinity Series championship or anything here, but we're still going to be 3 wide in the middle between Cozy and Allgaier. We get clear of Allgaier now. We're going to try and go 3 wide in the middle. Cozy gives us a ton of room, like 2 extra lanes, and we get clear of him, and to the inside of Cindric down into turn 3, and we're going to move up into 3rd place, and it would just be a matter of time until we run down David Schotthaus here in the next few laps now with 23 laps to go. You can see just how much better drive off I have with those fresher tires here. It's only about a 10 lap difference, but it makes a difference here. As you can see side by side with Schotthaus through 3 and 4, and we should be able to put that power down on the exit to get clear, and yes we do. We get clear for 2nd place of David Schotthaus, one of the hot prospects of the Xfinity Series here, going to be for sure a competitor to make it into that Final 4 this season and compete for a championship here in just his rookie season in the Xfinity Series. Now as we close in on AJ Allmendinger now in the final closing laps, coming to 20 laps to go at this point, and it was just a matter of time once again until we got to him. We get to the outside on the exit of turn 2 with 19 laps to go, side by side with Allmendinger. I think he was the one that won in our Xfinity debut at Kentucky after I burned up my tires in stage 3. So the goal is to not do that again here in New Hampshire now, as we are able to get that car to rotate pretty well and just get the power down on exit. The traction's there, and we get clear of Allmendinger. Up into the lead we go in New Hampshire here now as we come through to 12 laps to go. And once again, I had burned up my tires a little bit, but it was nowhere near the amount that I had previously done, because I was able to at least continue to lead this race. But Allmendinger was continuing to just be within about 4 to 5 tenths of a second for the remainder of these final closing laps here in New Hampshire now, as I couldn't stretch the gap out further than about 5 to 6 tenths of a second. So he was staying just close enough to keep the pressure on. If I make a mistake, it's game over. If I burn up the tires a little bit too much, it's game over, just like it was in Kentucky. So we have to make sure we remain calm, keep the car in one piece here, and just hold our line, try to defend as much as we can, and keep these tires under control as well. 4 laps to go, nearly on the outside wall on the exit of turn 2, but Allmendinger within 4 tenths of a second now to 2 laps to go through 3 and 4 here, looking at our first ever win in the Xfinity Series in just our second start. Allmendinger coming to the final lap within a couple tenths of a second, nearly to our back bumper. White flag in the air down into turns 1 and 2 for the final time from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Allmendinger about a half a car width lower, a whole lane lower, that gets to my left rear quarter panel. He's about side by side on the exit of turn 2, but I get a better exit right there. We get the power down, and once again and clear of Allmendinger down the back straightaway here on this final lap, down into turns 3 and 4. For the final time, he's going to put the pressure on. He's going to try and look to the inside here, a little bit sideways there. He's to my quarter panel. He's to my door. He's even side by side with Allmendinger on the exit of turn 4 on this final lap. I put the power down as early as I can, nearly into the outside wall, but it sticks. We hang on. We win in just our second ever start in the Xfinity Series in dramatic fashion there over AJ Allmendinger. We were dead even through the middle of 3 and 4, but we would hang on to win in just our second start and solidify ourselves as a true candidate to be an Xfinity Series regular next season. What a race for us right there. And obviously, I think it came down to us making that call to put on fresh tires at the end of stage 2, because I think we would have maybe still been a top 5 car if we had stayed up at the end of stage 2, but I don't think we would have won that race. So that was the right call to go with. For some reason, I actually said I finished last, but obviously we did win. Allmendinger ended up second. But now we head into the Truck Series here the following weekend for the regular season finale at Watkins Glen International. And obviously, I've talked about it many times before. I love road course racing, and the storyline for our My Driver series is we come from an open wheel background from Formula 2. I will be keeping up with the Formula 2 stuff very soon, and just the lower open wheel stuff as well, so stay tuned on that. Now, as we would cross the line though to qualify in P11 after a very rough first and opening lap here in qualifying at Watkins Glen, then I actually crashed the truck. So we're going to be starting in 11th here in our BWT number 66 Silverado, which is not where I want to be starting for the regular season finale, but it doesn't really matter for us. We're locked into the playoffs, and the only situation we're looking at is Zane Smith, the number 21 truck, and Michael Marutz, pretty much. They're racing for points, but they're like 30-something points apart. So Smith, the only way Zane Smith gets eliminated from the final spot in the playoffs today is if we have a new winner, like Davin Cornelius, who's up there towards the front, or if he crashes out, Zane Smith does. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here now as we get through turns 1 clean, and you see in the background, though, 3 wide for 2 rows deep there, right towards the back of this pack as they head down towards the S's. Someone has to give there, but no one's going to give. Hocevar with some contact there with Tanner Gray. You saw Enfinger in the wall, and you saw the 19 of Kraus pick up some damage. Both Enfinger and Kraus in the playoffs here at the end of today's episode. Other than that, a clean start. Now we can tell you what's going on in this race. 14-lap race here in Watkins Glen. Stage 1, 3 laps. Stage 2, 3 laps. So at the conclusion of lap 6, stage 2 will be complete there. So I got very close to Zane Smith. I wasn't cutting him any breaks now. But basically what's happening here, NASCAR is trying a new package for the road racing. Instead of throwing caution at the end of stage 1 and 2, they're going to let stage 1 run through, complete, throw stage points down for the top 10, but keep the race going, and then at the conclusion of stage 2 is when they will elect to throw a caution, and that will lead us, of course, into the restart for stage 3. So NASCAR trying out brand new rules here at road courses, and a big thing of this My Driver series as we progress towards a Cup series, you're going to see a lot of rules changes that basically I would like to see in NASCAR, and I'm going to implement that myself into the My Driver series. So as well, keep tuned for what I have planned for next season in the Xfinity Series. It's very interesting. As we have a big one on Stuart Friesen there, nearly put myself head on into the guardrail. I don't think it could have gotten any closer to that guardrail without hitting it there. That was very close now, as we were already on the final lap of stage 1 here from Watkins Glen, but no caution will come out at the end of this final lap now as we go through the bust up. A huge checkup right there, and I drove right into the back of a fellow Canadian of Stuart Friesen. Damage to his back bumper, damage to my front bumper, and I could tell that was the 4X. Immediately I knew for a fact we were going to be down on power, not significantly down on power, but enough to make a difference down the straightaways. But we're really lucky this is not an oval, it's a road course. We can, as the driver, make a difference, especially through the corners. Right on the back there of that KBM Toyota Camry, or Toyota Tundra, sorry, of the 18 of Smith there. A little bit of contact with this left rear right there as we get clear of him, but it's John Hunter Nemechek winning stage 1, so he picks up another playoff point. Creed in second, Cornelius in third in a must-win scenario, as you see the rest of the top 10 coming through to cross the line there. Zane Smith and Michael Marutz rounding out the top 10 as we continue on, though. Stage 1 complete, stage points handed out, but we continue without caution, and it will happen at the end of stage 2. So now to lap 5, there's already just a couple laps to go in stage 2, and we were going to the left-hand side of Friesen there. We're making a pass around the outside in turn 1, so we're going to move up into the now 6th position. Then we get right to the back of Ben Rhodes, and literally to the back of him. We drive right into his tailgate, and as we went into the final turn here, approaching the final lap of stage 2, we move up another position here. So we are into the top 5 coming up to this final lap here. You see Cornelius takes a very, very defensive line over Matt Crafton down into turn 1 there, as now I have to go a little bit defensive over Ben Rhodes into the corner, just about had a wheel hop as well. But we remained in the same spot here for the remainder of this final lap here in stage 2. They were just a little bit too far out of reach for me to be able to run them down, and then I had a bit of a sloppy lap as well here. So it was John Hunter Nemechek again leading the way here at the end of stage 2. He comes through down the front straightaway to hold off Sheldon Creed easily to win stage 2, and a caution will come out at the end of the second stage there, as we nearly got to Crafton and Cornelius here in these final moments, but it wasn't enough there as we come through to cross the line. Friesen, Rhodes, Smith, and then another Smith, Chandler Smith, and Michael Roots round out the top 10 as a caution comes out. No pit stop necessary here, so we would get ready to go green for the start of the third and final stage. And now at this point, the only hope for anyone to get into the playoffs for the final spot is Cornelius winning, or Zane Smith having an incident early on and Roots being able to get him by like 30 some odd points, which is nearly impossible at this point here as we are underway for the start of stage 3. Nemechek leads the way into turn 1. He took a defensive line over Cornelius, who's side by side with Sheldon Creed. Cornelius must win here, and due to new winners we've had like Haley Deegan, Grant Enfinger, Derek Kraus, there is multiple drivers that should be in the playoffs but aren't because of those surprise winners. I mean, you look at Jay Cook, you look at Davin Cornelius, those two drivers should be fighting for playoff positions, but instead on the outside looking in because of these surprise winners that we've had like Kraus, Enfinger, and Haley Deegan here. And now, as you see, the 4 of Nemechek lead the way through the bus stop there. Everybody through there clean, single file there as we're right to the back of that Menards driver of Matt Crafton, as I'm going to sail one up the inside here of the carousel. Call me Sailman Jones at this point, and with how many sails we do here in this My Drivers series there, as we are going to clear him out of the carousel and move up another position into 4th place. And then I got stuck behind these 2 drivers that were going at it, Davin Cornelius, fellow Canadian, and Sheldon Creed, and these 2 were driving kind of like clowns here, trying to fight each other here, and that opened the door for myself to put the pressure to the back of Creed here, to the right hand side of him here on the exit of the S's, but unfortunately couldn't clear him, so I send one up the inside again into the bus stop, and we will get clear of Sheldon Creed. Then we have to deal with Davin Cornelius, who is in a must-win scenario fighting for his life here in 2nd place, and he would go extremely defensive. He took it to the next level down this front straightaway, very defensive into turn 1, and it would continue. He does the same thing into the bus stop. I said, I'm not dealing with this much longer. I want to get on with the day. We're coming up to 2 laps to go in the regular season finale. I get to the back bumper and I hook him and nearly turn him around. A huge save there from Cornelius. He got into the grass and he somehow keeps it going in the right direction into the carousel. Tremendous save there by Davin. Shout out to him as we nearly lose the truck ourselves there on the exit of the carousel. But that was it. We come straight through to the final lap here in Watkins Glen, and I was faster than John Hunter Nemechek. I was gaining about a half a second a lap on him, but unfortunately, we just didn't have enough time here. So it is going to be a 2-win regular season for myself, and it looks like John Hunter is going to have a 4-win regular season, so 7 playoffs by sweeping, or 7 playoff points by sweeping the day of stage 1, 2, and 3, but as well, he's going to win the regular season championship, and I'm going to give him 10 extra playoff points for that. So basically what I did for the top 10, of course, I'll get playoff points here in the regular season standings. So John Hunter, I'm going to give him 10, 2nd place will get 9, 8th place will get 7, and so on and so forth, to 10th place it gets 1 playoff point. And there are a few drivers in the top 10 of the regular season standings that will miss the playoffs due to surprise winners. Cornelius and Cook, very unfortunate for them. Nonetheless, though, John Hunter Nemechek wins here for the 4th time this season. In Watkins Glen, I crossed the line there in 2nd place. Cornelius in a must-win gets 3rd, and there is Zane Smith in the 21 truck, the final spot in the playoffs. They're the only driver that makes it in on points. So that's the only guy in the top 10 that gets in on points as well there in the regular season standings, as the rest of the field would cross the line. What a regular season it was here. Nemechek, Creed, definitely the 2 strongest drivers. Then you got myself, who's been kind of here and there, and I think that hopefully we can pick it up here in the playoffs and put a legitimate fight to them. And you might be wondering, of course, what does the playoff grid look like? Well, here is the playoff grid. I'm going to try and make some real graphics for the races now, as I'm going to also try and get both of the rounds of the playoffs out in 2 videos. So hopefully we can do that, but we do have an Xfinity start coming up at the Roval, so I'm going to try and work around it the best I can. But the playoffs are going to be about 2 or 3 episodes, and that is it. There you see the playoff standing. So John Hunter, of course, on top, 37 points above the cut line. Creed, he is at 22 above. I myself am 11 points above to start the playoffs. Chandler Smith 7 above, Rhodes 6 above, Crafton 4, Zane Smith 3, and then 3 drivers get eliminated in both rounds. Enfinger, Kraus, Deegan all out by 3. They all picked up 1 surprise win on the season. So 3 spots you could argue that kind of went to waste, but we'll see. You never know. Those drivers could surprise. Anything could happen. As always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time of your day to watch this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it, and we will start the playoffs in the next episode here in our Rookie Truck Series season and fight for a championship. Thank you to the members, of course, to be at the end of the episode, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day, everybody.